Hi and welcome to this Severneshop and OTC video. Now, I'm Neil Greentree and I am sitting here with Tris Best. Now, you may or may not know that name, but one of the most important names in UK windsurfing because Tris, what you have done for, I don't know how long, must be 20 years plus.
Yep, since I was 19, so yeah, 23 years.
Yeah, you have tested all boards, sails, you're a tester. And you've done this a long time. And so what I wanted to do, I'm down at Weymouth, down at the OTC, and which you have run for the last 15 years. I've come down and I just thought, I tell you what, I'm going to hook up with you. We've known each other a long time, and I just thought I want to dig behind the scenes and speak to one of the most important names within the industry. I know you are super modest about all this. I know that, but you're really important, and I want to talk to you about how you built up your expertise on reviewing kit. So when you first started, how did you get into it? How did you start doing it?
Well, okay, long story very short then. So I was working out in Wildwind, out in Vasiliki,
Yep.
and a gentleman called Simon Dawkins, who was the test editor at the time for the magazine, he came out on holiday.
Okay.
And we were learning to flat water forward at the same time.
Yep.
And so we were kind of sparring against each other. And then at the Zeus bar, which is the infamous Zeus bar, we were having a beer. And I basically turned around and said, look, if there's an opening, I'm very happy to come and do some testing for you.
Oh.
Thinking I'd never heard from him again. And yeah, so literally got the call within a few months of coming back from VAS. I was at university. And yeah, so, you know, twice a year I was going out and testing.
You carved your way in then?
Well, yeah, I think the funny thing is, I mean, going a long way back, my dad was a helicopter pilot in the Air Force. And so I always looked at him and I was like, he's got the best job ever. Like, he comes back, he's smiling, he's loving his life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to have a job that I enjoy.
Yep.
So, you know, I knew the industry was something I wanted to get into, and, you know, just purely by chance, you know, Si came out on holiday, and we, you know, like I said, we just kind of, we kicked it off, and like, you know, it was just literally, I suppose, within the industry anyway, you get a lot of people that are very like-minded.
Yep.
And I just, you know, it was literally a passing comment thinking, oh, you know, if there's an opportunity, I'd love to come and test. And
So that's all well and good. But we're all testers in our own mind because we all have our own opinion and go, oh, we like this or we don't like that. Yours is far deeper than that because yours is qualified, and your knowledge of all other brands. Are you able to actually pitch a XYZ, a Severn Nano? You can pitch it against all the other boards that go against it, whereas the rest of us are just going, you know, it's brilliant because we like it. How do you then separate and actually judge how a board is good or bad? Or
so I suppose so my course at university was industrial design, so I kind of, you know, coming through the design process and understanding that a little bit, iterative design and stuff. I suppose when it comes down to testing, it's a couple of things. First of all, time in the water, like that, you cannot get anything better. Like, you know, with regards to using in different conditions, in different wind strengths, you know, in a different environment, and you kind of get a better feeling for it. Yeah. But I would honestly say testing boards is quite quick. You know, there's lots of different ways you can set it up, but the bottom line is the feel you initially get from it. It's quite intuitive. That's kind of the feel of the board, and you can play around with it, but it's completely different for sales. Sales takes a long time because there's so many different permutations to try it in. That, like, trying sales and testing sales, that takes the time.
So you can, and you've just saying that, I would entirely agree with the board. You can usually, when I've tried a new whatever it might be, I will know within probably the first 10 minutes how I'm going to feel about it. Even if I adjust the fins or straps or A or B or C, and I know there's a couple of times I've even picked up the phone to you and gone, Tris, any hints? I remember I'd done it with the Nano V2, and I kind of had a chat with you and went, right, this, I'm not sure about this board, and I'm not going to say any more about it, but I actually pick up the phone to you. Yeah. But you say sales, I can tell, because you can rig it in different ways. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
It's the rigging which you can do?
Absolutely. And
but then again, the manufacturers say you rig it in a certain way, or do you actually rig it different to that as well, just in case it rigs better in a different way?
Completely. Yeah. And even to the point that you're changing masts sometimes and trying different masts. Yeah, absolutely. So the thing is, the reality is, with testing, if you get on something and you enjoy it straight away, you can write lots about it. You know, you can bring
Okay.
out the superlatives, and you can really go to town.
Yeah.
If you don't like something,
Yeah.
that's the kit you have to spend time on. You know, and
What?
that's the
Hold
stuff
on
you
a
have
minute.
to
Now
suss
this is
out.
where I'm going to put you on the spot, my
Yeah.
friend. Is that so you learn to like it, or is it so you
No.
can quantify what you don't like about it?
Well, so this is an interesting thing. So basically, when it comes down to it,
Yeah.
I think the sport is mature enough that actually there's no dud that's created. Okay, like when I started testing, you know, back in 99.
Yeah.
Like there were definitely some boards, some sales where you're like, we're really going to struggle with this one, and
Okay.
then there's a lot of toing and froing between the designers to try and understand whether there's a problem with the product, problem with the mast, all the rest of it. Today, I think the sport is mature enough that actually, for the most part, there's very rare that you get to a product and you go, I'm struggling with this one.
Okay.
But the bottom line is, when it comes down to sales, it is such a subjective thing. You know, we could be the same rider weight, and we could have the same sort of location that we go out, but we're after very different things.
Yeah.
So where the centre of effort is, whether it's high and forward, or whether it's sort of low and around the rider, it makes a massive difference to how it feels. And it doesn't mean to say it's right or wrong. It's like it's for you. So my responsibility as a tester, I feel, when I'm writing the reviews for the magazine,
Yeah.
is to basically make sure that people, when they read it, have a clear understanding of whether it's for you as in your style of riding, in your location, and you know, whether you're a weekend warrior and going out when you
Yeah.
have the time and you want plug and play ease,
Yeah.
or whether you're very analytical about kit and you want to fine tune it and get the most out of that sale.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
Absolutely, but it leads on perfectly to my next question, and that is, so with that in mind, which I entirely agree with, it must make your job more difficult, because in some places they mark the goods with 5 stars. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you go, well, you must go, well, hold on a minute, this is far more subjective than that, because what you've just said, which is entirely right, is that what will suit you may not suit me.
yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
apportion stars to that? Or I don't know.
Well, I mean, I think we don't do the scoring, because it is very, very hard to
So
do
you
scoring.
simply submit your report on
Yeah.
the. That's
So,
interesting.
you know,
That's
and,
good.
and I know, like, you know, basically we put ourselves up for criticism left, right, and centre.
Of
You
course,
know, it's all
well,
the same.
hey,
And I know
in this
you've
modern
been
world
critical in past about magazine testing, but I think the reality is, when it comes down to it, the way I see it is we're providing a service to our readers and making sure that they kind of have, like, these are the new products, this is what the brand says about it, this is the brand claim, this is our objective perspective on what it is and what it does.
That is something which is important, and that is absolutely what you do, and that is you put the brand's perspective. So what do they claim that
Yeah.
it can do?
Yeah.
And then I think where you have earned your stripes is that the way you review it, and I entirely agree with you, you don't give your opinion, you will analytically feed back, this is what it does. Now, it's then down to you as to whether it fits your pigeonhole as to what you like.
Yeah.
But it must be a difficult, I wouldn't want to do your job, because I remember a few years back, and everyone will remain nameless, but there was you doing a test. There was the agent who brought the kit in, who was not happy at all about it, absolutely browbeating you to try and get you to change your opinion. It must be difficult for you, because you've got all these different people or brands trying to get the best out of it, and you're trying to stay independent. You're trying to kind of go, look, I'm just asked to ride it.
Yeah.
Must be tough.
Yeah, it is, but you know, again, it's still a very blessed position to try all the different stuff. So you know, you got to have a look at the bigger picture.
That is very diplomatic, Tris. you are the master of diplomacy. You are no fair, but I think you've needed that with the job that you've done, and I think also that has helped you earn the respect that you've got, because you are massively respected. You are the go-to guy when it comes to really seeing where a board sits amongst the market, because your database goes back so far. And probably forgotten half of it, I don't know. Okay, so at this point we're just going to break off. This is end of part 1. Come back for part 2, where we talk more about what is going on now with your testing team and at the OTC.